I recently completed work on my Thranduil cosplay, and this is the cosplay breakdown of how I made this costume and what went into each of its components. Starting with the robe, as you can see it is silver in color with a small floral design covering the entire fabric. It also has lots of piping running the entire length of the robe, and the robe is beyond floor length. It's very long, very beautiful. I'm super proud of it. Here are the dye samples. The fabric actually started out as somewhat of a white color, and I used Rit dye in pearl gray as well as graphite to get the color that I wanted. To pattern out the robe, I draped a flat sheet, and using a marker I drew on where I wanted each section to be. I did this for the front and the back. I cut each section following the lines that I had drawn, and then cut those sections out of my printed and dyed fabric, and sewed each of them together, sandwiching a layer of piping in between each section. As you can see, that's the piping. I also added a zipper, you can see that, even though that's not what I'm pointing at right now. The collar is relatively simple. I based the pattern off of a collared shirt that I own, and in hindsight I should have added some type of stiffening interface into it, because now that I've worn it a couple of times, it's definitely not as stiff as I would like it to be. Here is a view of the front. As you can see, I did end up adding a zipper, and I did my best to get each line of piping to touch the other side so it's as symmetrical as possible. And honestly, I think I did a pretty good job. Moving on to the back side of the costume, as you can see, it's quite long, it goes well past the floor, and there are not nearly as many lines in the back as there are in the front. Here we have the side seam, as well as the pocket that I inserted into the costume. As far as the inside of the robe goes, there are more pockets. There's one on each side, and I don't really know why I put these in here because I've never used them. It's always zipped up and I can't get to these pockets when it is zipped. Here's the arm side. It's a little bit unfinished, which I'm noticing now, hashtag embarrassing, but I'm also probably not going to go back and fix it because it's not that big of a deal. Okay, let's talk about shoes. These are actually a pair of boots that my sister made for another costume. I ended up covering them in glitter and calling it good. The crown is a galvanized steel wire base that I covered in polymorph to make it look like it's made out of branches. To get that branchy texture, I painted it with browns and golds, and then my sister touched it up because she's a way better painter than I am. The leaves are just plastic leaves that I got at Hobby Lobby and then sprayed with glittery red spray paint. There are also these little anchors that I put into the crown just in case I needed to thread a bobby pin through it and secure it onto my head. So far I've never had to use them, but they are there as an option. The wig is a blonde lace front wig that I got from Amazon. I'll link it in the description below. And to get the texture out of the wig, I just flat iron it on a low setting. It has these awesome clips that help keep it in. It's really shiny, it's pretty good quality. I would buy it again for sure. Sometimes I cosplay as just regular Thranduil, but sometimes I break out the glow sticks and these awesome light up sunglasses and I cosplay as Party Thranduil. He is a much jazzier character and it's really fun to mix things up a bit. My version of Party Thranduil carries around this staff that's like a glittery stick with a Starbucks cup attached to the top. It's not the greatest prop in the world, but it is so fun to walk around and carry it. And lastly, just for conventions, I did make this drawstring bag to carry around like snacks, my water bottle, and it fits the theme. I usually pair this cosplay with a pair of black leggings and a black t-shirt, and that's the costume. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Rebel Girls Cosplay, like and subscribe. I feel awkward saying that. This is the end of the video.